Father left in 1991 when his dad died. Mom died in 1919 with Spanish influenza. He waited a very respectful graduated from the Colorado Art School. He did over 70 robotics and learned he was by far the most productive American architect in the 20th century. Compared to Frank Lloyd Wright, like 400 projects. And this only covers one of the projects. The entire thing, all the buildings on it, everything is surrounded with this project flagging. Pilot school out there. We have a pilot school. So he spent his 2 years. Okay. Home don't serve. Yeah, no. So he moved out there for college. And time for him to move back. He got his license, his fly license. Cool. I'll fly out there and pack everything in his little car and go back.
Shit.
Sir, please come back onto the mat.
Small cottage to replace his campsite. It's called the assembly room, which is basically a living room. At 2,500 square feet, it's bigger than most people's homes. In fact, that one cottage that we went by cost them money inside this room. This was sort of the center of the social action. Just like in the Mediterranean village, the main plaza might be the place that people hung out during the day, but you wanted to enjoy yourself. So right here, you can swim from that next pool, do a roller pool, and tennis. Was a noted movie star. And a lot of the people that he invited up here were Hollywood royalty. He made those movies and starred in them as well. That was a lot of investment. And Wilson moved back east to New York. That's where she was from. She had a very nice mansion on Long Island that's supposed to be the template for the one of the Great Gatsby and very overlap somewhat with his relationship with Millicent. He was doing work with the painter that we're all in right now, but it was really Mary Davies who commented the atmosphere for it. Made it imagining it in place that people want back to the newspapers that would be published the next day on the East Coast. And Mary would be the one entertaining you. She was a noted comedic actress of her time. She's one of the few who was able to make it for a while, and actually the 13th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She was like a it actually captures the performance of a noted musician of the time. It's almost a digital recording device. But in fact, the real stars of this room are the if you were here, cocktail hour, he has a couple of weak cocktails. Hearst did not like his guests to get too drunk. That's because he wanted to make sure that they stayed sharp for conversation later. He wasn't just a collector of art and artifacts and antiques. He was a collector of people and conversations. He was looking for stories. If you've got a story to tell, it might have ended up in one of his newspapers or magazines or on radio programs or maybe even a movie. He was doing cross-media synergy before that was even a thing. Maybe an hour and a half into having the cocktail hour, you feel from behind the choir stall doors over there. You'll notice that there are these choir stalls that surround them. They're really just here as kind of wainscoting or wall paneling, not meant for sitting in.
That's why I actually know my story.
Another door coming in. So this one is called the Refectory, which is the name for a medieval dining hall in Europe. You might find one in a convent, a monastery, or universities. You might have seen one on Game of Thrones or Game of Hogwarts, like Harry Potter movie. Usually a long, narrow room with a long, narrow table where you can eat. What this place is. In fact, it's the only dining room on the property. And that's because which one everybody has to be together, to eat together, to have food here. You can see this room looks a little bit different from the one that was left. That one's much more Renaissance style, much more symmetrical. They all have these arches at the top. The original arch. Sort of called a ray house from Spain. There was something that her tapestries in front of me and behind me to get to see what Daniel and that imagine from the Bible. And in fact, what this way to try to base run in the center square, which kind of off the horses. It's kind of like roller derby for horses. It's basically whichever district wins. So like I said, this room was the only place you could get food. That meant for breakfast, you come here, you can tell like the way the table was set up. Yes, there were people serving you and there were place cards and settings for people to sit. But if you look at the table in the way it's like ties, linens, crystal, silver, nothing like that here. You could have gotten to a catalog or very flatware, not silver, just glass or pie. So it was pretty down home. He was doing farm to table. That's interesting. Maybe moving on the table. Our own always chairs out and hot seats. So it goes to the fire over there. The biggest across the line. It's finally time for you to leave. A lot of his guests were Hollywood royalty, the performers, and musicians and scientists.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. You light it.
Once you're walking, you go to your right or left. Stay on the car.
Just choice.
So this room was nice, but it was actually used for a lot of other things as well. As I mentioned, it was also a place where people would have to drink and smoke as well. Mr. Hearst actually also used to show movies in theater before he built movie theaters in the city of Tinnitus. They would just move the furniture around, take the projector on him, and screen. George supposedly won the San Francisco Examiner in poker game, and David William when he was 24 years old. And he took that one newspaper, movie studios, and even one TV station before he died in 1951. He was hugely influential. At the height of his power, 1 in 4
What else is total?
back then.
Well, the first couple of years, experience a lot of sports courses, and then which is not sport. But then there's actually very
So this is the billiards room. Any millionaire with a salt definitely would have a billiards room. America probably will recognize this table over here. Notice that table has no pockets on it. These are both super fancy, modern Billiard tables at the time, this was the first Brunswick model table that was an automatic ball return at the bottom of it. And these are all originals. Millicent, this companion Mary Davies, and of course the architect Julie Morgan. The little vignettes at the top of it, you can see they depict different sports, like jousting and bullfighting, but in good shape. But it was a unique piece of art to begin with. You can see the art. He used to tell his staff that if they caught mice in the kitchen, that they should set them free outside. Another remarkable thing about Casa Grande is it doesn't have any trophy rooms in it. Most millionaires of that area would have had entire rooms filled with giraffes and lions. Nothing like that exists on the hilltop. It makes that owl over there a little bit of a mystery. Folks think that it might have been shot by one of his sons and only displayed here after he left the hilltop in 1947. This room also has a lot of modern flourishes to it, in addition to the billiard tables, in-wall electric heaters. Back in the day, the movie theaters were often called movie palaces because going out to the movies was a special occasion back in the 20s. Cineplexes and streaming platforms and movies you could watch on a little device in your hand. It was a big deal to go out to movies. So periods and sculptures that were designed by Julie Morgan. The walls are hung with 17th century Italian damask silk and metallic edging. Big overstuffed chairs in here. So it's more of a plush experience for you. These chairs actually would have been spaced out more and when you put the chairs and the benches here for event videos. Casa Grande with Canadian comedic actress Marie Dressler. She was obviously also an animal lover, so of a different kind. She was one of the first women to win an Oscar. You're going to get a glimpse here of Marion Davies. She's the blonde with the bob and the argyle sweater. Remember, she's a comedic actress from back in the day. Here she is with Charlie Chaplin, playing his favorite musical instrument, the tennis racket. One said that she was the funniest woman he ever knew, which was a huge compliment coming from the king of comedy. He was the court jester of San Simeon. He could come anytime he wanted to the studios, that's their logo. These gates I rode, which when they heard a car coming up, they would come up to say hi, gated by a kangaroo and a wallaby on their way out. Most of these animals got sold off or donated to other zoos during this economic development on the property that exists. These aren't there, there's white caliber bison. The rodads are still on the property. They block that road that you came up on sometimes. Some African impala, and of course, the very notorious San Simeon zebras. Three dazzles, I guess, we call herd zebras. Sometimes you see them on better weather days than today down in the flat. And here you see Mr. Hearst coming out of the front of the castle.
Oh, this is your favorite room?
Hello.
Oh, it's very, the fog lifted over there.
Hearst went to the expense and difficulty of building 1945 in order to land a Douglas D. Flew into San Simeon from the mid-1920s on. It is still in private use. Farther north up the coast, you may see the Piedras Blancas lighthouse, which is still in operation, having been in continuous use since 1870, and give birth in this cove. Extreme caution actions when you reach Highway 1. Walk out on the pier and imagine the area as a former whaling station, an estate that housed castle workers in the years after 1919. Its one-room schoolhouse still survives, as
Wasn't long before he learned about a redwood forest that was larger than Welch's Grove and included more and bigger trees. He agreed to join an experience to see the redwoods of Big Basin for himself.